So in today's video, we're going to be comparing the APC crop of the A7IV compared to the full frame to see how it affects the image quality. First of all, I want to give a shout out to District South for bringing this to my attention, and also for Jason Morris for making a video. That's where I learned about this, that apparently when you shoot at the APC crop of this camera, you get better and sharper image quality, especially when you're shooting at 1080p resolution and you do APC crop plus you do clear zoom. Apparently then, when you're doing like a micro four thirds crop on the A7IV's full frame camera, apparently you get like the sharpest image results. So we're going to be doing a lot of different tests, and we're going to be using a zoom lens. So when we do the APC crop or even go to micro four thirds crop by using the clear image zoom, we're going to be able to adjust the zoom levels so that I pretty much don't have to move the camera that much. I'm just going to be zooming in and out just so we can get the clearest image quality. So now I'm going to set up a shot right here, and we're going to see which one of them is sharper. Okay, this is what the framing looked like, and this is when I zoomed in 13 times. As if we can see, this is the highest quality at full frame, and this is when we go to APC crop, where the image quality does drop just a tiny bit, but the noise floor does rise. So when we go to clear zoom, as we can see, the image quality degrades a lot. Now this is a comparison between the three of them, and as we can see, the full frame looks the best. APC almost as sharp, but not as well, and the clear zoom is definitely a lot worse. This is the 1080p full frame. Looks kind of soft, but it looks pretty good. And when we go to APC crop, we do get a little bit more sharpness, and when we go to APC clear zoom, it just looks terrible in my opinion. And here we have the 60 frames per second clear zoom APC image, and the image quality does drop a tiny bit from there also. Now if we compare all three of the images, we can see that the full frame is obviously the best. APC is a tiny bit sharper, so you're getting a little bit of sharpness, but your noise levels are gonna go up a little bit higher. And then I kept the ISO same for all of these, so it's just a little bit more different. And if we look at the clear zoom, it just looks a lot worse. Okay, so after doing the test, I gotta say pretty much the full frame options seem to be the best for both 4K and 1080p, and here's why. So with the 4K image, pretty much as you crop more into the sensor, you are losing a tiny bit of image quality. When you go from full frame to APC, there's a tiny bit of image quality. Like if you want to use the APC mode, you can do it. Like you're not going to notice it when you just have your frame normally laid out. Since I zoomed in 13 times, you can really tell if there's any degrading in the image. That's why you can really tell the difference. But normally if you're not zoomed in, a crazy amount, you're not going to be able to tell any difference. So I wouldn't worry about it. When it comes to the clear zoom, both in 4K and 1080p, it just seemed to, soften up the image a little bit. So I'm not really sure what happened in Jason's video where he got a sharper image. Maybe he did something differently. But from my experimentation, clear zoom does not give you a sharper image. If anything, it just makes the image look a lot worse. But one thing that I did notice with when you crop into the sensor more and more, that just increases your base noise level on the camera, so your images just end up becoming noisier. So that's where it kind of gets a little complicated when you shoot in 1080p resolution. Because when you shoot 1080p, if you shoot APC crop on it, it is a tiny bit sharper than the full frame. But then what you do get is a little bit higher noise levels. So if you're shooting at the base ISO, there is a tiny bit of more noise, but you wouldn't really notice that, to be honest. But if you went to a higher up noise level, that's where you would notice more of a difference on the noise levels when you're in a low light situation. That's why full frame cameras are better in low light, because they have a bigger sensor, so it can gather more light. If you compare, a full frame sensor like this to like a micro four thirds sensor, there's a huge difference when you go to higher up in ISOs. That's one big thing. So anyways guys, hopefully this video was useful to you. It was definitely a good learning experience for me. I'm pretty much going to stick to full frame for most of my shooting. I do have some tests coming up in the future where I'm going to try using some APC lenses and try to use this camera more of a Super 35 camera to see how the things affect this camera more. Because when you do use the APC mode, first of all, if you want to shoot in 4K 60 FPS, you do have to use the APC mode, but also you get less rolling shutter with the camera, so if that's something you care about, then you can do it. Also, there's some, lenses that you can use. Like one lens that I do want to get my hands on and try is going to be the Sigma 18 to 35mm lens, because that's one of the, the most famous Super 35 lenses. So I want to try it and see how it works on this camera. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. I make videos about the A7IV and some other stuff in the future, hopefully, once I stop milking this camera, I will be, you know, going back to making videos about other stuff, you know, reviewing lighting and like maybe even doing some technical stuff, you know, showing you how to pose models and stuff. But we'll get into that stuff later. Right now I'm just focusing on making A7IV videos. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Goodbye.